Let's hope that this iPhone 17 Pro camera rumor is dead wrong. Yesterday, I saw the appearance of 3 rumors about the iPhone 17 Pro camera system. The source for them has no track record, so it's perfectly possible that all 3 are rubbish, but it's at least likely that they would have access to the alleged material. 2 of the rumored enhancements would be welcome, even if one sounds quite unlikely. But the third is something I'm very much praying is dead wrong. The insider claims to work for a video production company which names Apple among its clients, and to be basing their information on an iPhone 17 Pro movie currently in the works. The 3 features reported to be covered in the video are: 1. A first-party Pro camera app from Apple. 2. A second camera control button on the top edge of the phone. 3. The telephoto lens going from 5x optical zoom to 8x Apple Pro camera app. In iOS 26, Apple simplifies the user interface for the camera app. Opening it now, you initially see just photo and video options, while the rest of the functions, time-lapse, slow-mo, cinematic video, portrait mode, spatial photography, and panoramas are still present when you swipe. The source believes that the business is balancing off this reduced UI for the main camera app with the separate Pro app. No details are supplied, although it's expected this would mirror functionality present in third-party Pro camera apps like manual exposure and manual focusing. I do consider this as credible. Given that most iPhone users desire a point-and-shoot experience and seldom use any of the more specialist functions, then I can easily see reason in simplifying the primary app while having a more advanced one available to more niche users. We've already seen Apple do this for video with the Final Cut camera app, so a separate Pro software for still photography is completely realistic. Second camera control button is characterized as being on the top edge of the phone, making it accessible for portrait photographs. This is a little tougher to believe. My anecdotal experience is that rarely anyone continues to use the present camera control button on the iPhone 16 Pro once the novelty wears off, so a relatively pricey hardware change for rather narrow application seems doubtful to me. All the same, if that were true, I'd welcome it. I am one of the minority who does utilize the present button. The 8x telephoto lens. The third rumor suggests Apple is boosting the telephoto lens from 5x optical zoom to 8x, and it's this one I'm very much praying isn't true. The telephoto lens initially started as a 2x optical zoom. This created a decent focal length that I used very regularly. When it was raised to 3x, it generated something near to the 70mm focal length I consider optimal for portraits, but I used it a bit less for other images. But when Apple replaced out the 3x lens for a 5x one, it became nearly useless to me. Yes, it did provide enough compression and optical depth of field adjustment to provide some natural bokeh, but even for portraits 120mm equivalent was just too tight most of the time, and I nearly never use it for anything else. An 8x telephoto would require trading out an already too narrow 120mm lens for a ludicrous 192mm one. I'm sure some birdwatchers could like it, maybe some sports enthusiasts too, but anyone genuinely into either uses a solo camera. For most of us, this would be absurdly tight. Sure, some smartphone makers pursue numbers, with 10x lenses and more, as well as megapixel counts that seem amazing on the box but cause horrible noise in real-life use. Apple rejected this game altogether for a very long time. It has now started following the numbers to a significantly greater level, although I sincerely hope it won't do this. According to the source, Apple is creating a new Pro camera app that is appropriate for images and movies. It is meant to compete with professional camera programs from independent developers and is based on the likes of Kino, Halide, or Filmic Pro. Whether the software is just designed for the 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max versions, or also for other smartphones, initially remained unclear. Another new feature is that Apple has supposedly improved the optical zoom. Instead of a 5-fold optical zoom like in the iPhone 16 Pro and 16 Pro Max, the telephoto lens on the back is now expected to provide an 8-fold optical zoom. The lens is adjustable and should enable varying focus lengths. Finally, there is apparently a second camera control button on the top edge of the gadgets to make it easier to access the options when holding the device in different situations. The present camera control on the iPhone 16 will apparently be preserved. The iPhone 17 Pro variants are to have a fully overhauled rear camera system with a new configuration that runs across the width of the shell. 348-megapixel sensors will reportedly be fitted. Apple is thought to be preparing to push the video capabilities particularly hard. The idea is to draw vloggers and other creators of standalone cameras, such as those from Sony or Nikon, to the iPhone, writes Bloomberg journalist Mark Gurman back in the spring. Apple has regularly worked on video functionalities in recent years, most recently on unique microphone capabilities, which it now wants to provide for other apps. Next, we just got a hint that we could have to pay more for the iPhone 17. It's a very safe bet that the iPhone 17 is likely to break cover at some point during September 2025, but how much is it going to cost? Well, more than the iPhone 16 if recent claims from an industry analyst are to be believed. According to Jukanlis Reeve, Samsung Securities Research Center senior researcher John Wook Lee has gone on record as claiming iPhone prices are expected to increase next year, after no price hike in 2024. iPhone 16 pricing presently starts at $799/£799/1,399 Australian dollars, which equals the initial pricing of the iPhone 15. Albeit the phone is now available for less. In fact, the 2024 model was $100 cheaper than the 2023 model was in Australia. According to Lee, that suggests Apple is ready to boost prices this time around, though we don't know how much they would go up. In fact, we haven't heard anything in the way of iPhone 17 price leaks at all, up to this moment. While we don't know how much the iPhone 17 will cost, we can look at current pricing. We've already mentioned the iPhone 16, and the iPhone 16 Plus starts at $899/£1,599 Australian dollars. For the lowest amount of storage, the iPhone 16 Pro will set you back $999/£999/1,799 Australian dollars and higher, while the iPhone 16 Pro Max starts at a hefty $1,199/£1,199/2,149 Australian dollars. We'll have to wait and see whether price hikes reach any or all of the iPhone 17 models. And there's supposed to be a new model launching in place of the iPhone 16 Plus, the iPhone 17 Air. That phone is supposedly going to run you back $1,299, approximately £1,030/2,045 Australian dollars, which would be a big rise above the cell phone it's replacing. With sales of the iPhone 16 Plus reportedly not what they could be, perhaps a change in appearance can assist. And of course, a greater price will frequently mean more money per device for Apple. We may expect a few more pricing leaks to occur between now and September. What good is a new phone if it doesn't last all day, right? The iPhone 17 Pro Max would get the biggest ever battery in an iPhone, the Weibo leaker known as Instant Digital revealed in a post on X, as reported by Mac Rumors. However, the site noted Instant Digital's spotty record with Apple rumors. If the Pro's proportions are identical to the Pro Max's, as they're believed to be, it stands to reason that the Pro may get the bigger battery too. And Majin Buu reported on July 3 that the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max will incorporate a vapor chamber cooling mechanism, which could help prevent the bigger battery from overheating. In the past several years, Apple has consistently announced its new phones on the first Tuesday of September after Labor Day. However, the first Tuesday is the day after Labor Day in 2025, so that might push the date for the iPhone event to Wednesday, September 3 or Tuesday, September 9. That would suggest a release date of September 12 or 19. This likely will be the case with the complete iPhone 17 lineup, with the exception of the iPhone 17e, which could arrive in early 2026, according to Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo and a story from The Information. The iPhone 17 range may be the final to follow this fall release model. Starting with the iPhone 18, Apple will reportedly separate its phone releases so that lower-cost iPhones launch in the first half of the year and the higher-end Pro models become available later in the year. But that isn't scheduled to happen until 2026, thus you can likely still expect the iPhone 17 Pro to go available this fall. Pre-orders for a new iPhone normally begin the Friday after the announcement, with the phone shipping a week later. Based on the projected announcement on September 3 or 9, the presale date might be either September 5 or 12. Trump has raised, decreased, and postponed tariffs a dizzying number of times since February, all of which could affect the pricing of the iPhone 17 Pro. Apple, which claims it could transfer much of U.S. iPhone manufacture from China to India, has evaded many of the tariff hikes thanks to a reciprocal tax exemption list that includes numerous phones, laptops, and other gadgets that Apple produces. However, all the reprieves look to be temporary, so reciprocal tariffs might still affect costs by the time the iPhone 17 is announced. That is my view. What's yours? Please share your opinions in the comments. So, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more tech news and updates. See you for the next time. Peace out.